welcome. I'm glad you're here. I was a few minutes late, but I was stalling till Fox could get here. So Julio, I appreciate you coming in right behind me. It was like, in fact, I'm headed to your station right after this. I guess we're on the same page today. I appreciate you being here. It's in one of our newest facilities, and today we gather at Fire Station 19 to formally present a check to the police and fire department's benevolence funds. The Lubbock Apartment Association, who hosts the mayor's State of the City address and has for 35 years, generously donates the proceeds from their event to a charity. And it's a charity of the mayor's choice. And this year, I chose the police and fire department's benevolence funds for this donation. Our first responders, our police officers and our firefighters are among our bravest public servants. And it was important to me to as a new mayor, but really any time as a mayor, to honor these men and women and their families with this effort. You know, this money does go to a great cause. These benevolence funds provide support for police and fire department employees and their families when there's an emergency, extreme hardship, or when specific needs arise. And they both have a process to determine those needs, and something that's not going to be done at City Hall. That's done by the folks that oversee the benevolence funds. And I'm glad that the families are included in this, because it's those spouses and those children and those that when their parent that's or their spouse that's a firefighter or a police officer, when they leave in the morning or in the evening to go to work, there's never a complete guarantee that they're coming home. And we don't ever want to lose sight of that. And I think these men and women are they're heroes. And so I want to make sure that I recognize you guys. And there's a lot of them here. We're hosted by the folks at Station 19 today, and I'm going to make a couple recognitions in a moment. I want to talk just for a minute about our police chief and fire chief. They're to my left. Chief Lance Phelps, Chief Greg Stevens. They and their men, their other leaders, work well together. And you might say, well, that makes sense. They all work for this. They're all part of the city of Lubbock. But that's not always been the case. And there's no guarantee of that. And I give a lot of the credit to that, to the leadership, and certainly to the men and women of both organizations. But it is important that we work together, because we all have that same name at the bottom right-hand corner of our check, for one thing. But more importantly, we all serve the citizens of Lubbock. And so I applaud you guys for what you do together, and I'll make a few more comments about that at the very end today. But before we go any further, I think it's important to introduce the dignitaries who are with us from the Apartment Association today. We have their current president of their board of directors, Carol Lindsay Mize. Carol's going to come up in just a moment. She's with Texas Hawkeyes Property Management. We also have a Texas Apartment Association president, State Association president, one of our very own, Dave Marcinkowski from Madera Properties is here. Dave, we're glad you're here with us today. And then I think, I haven't seen Jeff, is okay. We were hoping that Jeff Lowry might be able to make it by today too. He's the incoming chair of the National Apartment Association. So Lubbock has a lot of impact on that multifamily part of the business community all over our city, state, and country. Also, Bill Malloy's here. Bill was last year's president of the board of directors of the Apartment Association. And Bill, we're glad you're here too. So we appreciate what you do for our community. I want to call Carol up to make some comments, and she's got the money. They don't trust me with the money.
Mayor Pope, thank you. I feel a little underdressed. All of the the stars and stripes and everything. Just a couple of things about the Apartment Association. We represent over 500 apartment communities and product service members, and that is a little over 29,500 units that are represented. As Mayor Pope said, this is our 25th State of the City luncheon. It was our largest. We had just right at 600 attendees, so it was a really great event. The Lubbock Apartment Association has given over $165,000 to charities like the South Plains Wildlife Rehab Center, South Plains Honor Flight, LP&L's Helping Hands, and then we're so proud to be able to do this for the Mayor's Choice this year. Each year we depend on sponsors, attendees, and volunteers to put on the State of the City, and without them we certainly wouldn't be able to present these proceeds. So this year it is our honor to give a total of $14,000 to the Lubbock Police and Fire Department Benevolent Funds in support of our firefighters, police officers, and their families. If I could get Police Chief Greg Stevens and Fire Chief Lance Phelps. This is play money. Mayor, I'll turn it back to you.
Chief, you guys come here. Y'all both of you make some brief comments about what this means to you guys. Lance, why don't you go first?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to thank Mayor Pope and the Lubbock Apartment Association and all of the people that came to the State of the City address to support this great cause. This will allow us, as the fire department and the police department, to help all of our officers, firefighters, department employees, and all of the families in what usually will become, the times that they need it the most, that they need help the most. Even our heroes need help sometimes, and this will allow us to help them when we can. Thank you all very much.
Yeah, I'll reiterate that. Nothing happens in a vacuum, and what Lance and I have worked on is one public safety solution. But even our folks, there is a support network around them, and what these organizations do is make sure that while the officers and the firefighters are out serving the city, that when they have a time of need, there's something there that can look after them. And I can tell you from a personal experience, the police department's Benevolent Fund has been there for me personally. In 2002, as a young sergeant, there was a point where I actually had to rely on that, and I have no idea who the officer was that went to the Benevolent Fund and it told the board that I had to rely on them, and they came through for me. I can tell you from personal experience, that's a necessary thing, and so I can't say thank you enough, Mayor, for thinking of those organizations. It means a lot, and it provides that sort of a safety net that sometimes when the heroes need heroes in the background to come through and help out. So I appreciate everybody being here. I appreciate the relationship that Lance and I have, and that filters down, and I appreciate the kind of support that Lubbock, Texas has for its public servants. Thank you.
These guys make me look good. It's great to work with Chief Phelps and Chief Stevens. I want to make a few more introductions and thank yous. Today I'm joined by Mayor Pro Tem Joy, by Councilwoman Gibson, Councilmember Griffith, Councilman Griffith, Councilman Massengale. I believe that's all the elected officials here. Also by the city manager, Mr. Atkinson, by the city attorney, Mr. Weaver, and by the city secretary, Ms. Garza. So we moved City Hall way out here today. We got to get this thing over so y'all can go back to work. It's a productivity drain, I guess. I want to make just another comment about this station in particular. And this builds on the comments that the chiefs just made. But for most of the last year, we've been testing an idea out here around police substations. And you've probably seen some of the press around that idea. And so Chief Phelps and his guys were kind enough to let Chief Stevens and some of his folks work in and out of here on a daily basis for nearly a year as we tested that idea. And you'll hear more information from us later. You'll hear more from us later this year about what our plans are about sort of decentralizing some of our police efforts. Probably the better way to describe it is getting our resources closer to our citizens, closer to our homes and businesses. So you should expect to hear that from us. But we thought it'd be a great place to celebrate the fact that we've been testing that here and that our police and fire department work so well together. So thank you for being here. I think I've gotten everything I wanted to say. Bob, did I get everything? Okay, good. I appreciate I know the Apartment Association folks are the folks that that do the real work behind these great volunteers that are here today. Thank you guys for your efforts, and God bless you all. It's a great day in Lubbock, Texas.